I'd like to tell you a story of how I accidentally found out that salvia could be an extremely healing plant. This was back in 2012. I got strep throat, and as anyone does when they get strep throat in this Western world, I went to the doctor and he put me on a course of antibiotics. And the sore throat kind of went away, but it didn't fully go away. What I was left with was redness and rawness in my throat, and I had these, especially on this side of my neck, some very large swollen lymph nodes. So I went back to the doctor and I was like, hey, the antibiotics didn't work. He was like, all right, let's put you on some stronger antibiotics. He put me on some stronger antibiotics, still didn't go away. This happened 3 times. They eventually put me on something called Z-Paks, which is like an intense 5-day antibiotic treatment, and that didn't work. It just felt like I always had like acid reflux and a very sore throat, and it hurt to talk and it hurt to swallow. So then I thought maybe it's my diet, maybe my system's too acidic or something like that. And so I cut out all coffee, I cut out all alcohol, I stopped smoking cannabis because I thought maybe the smoke was irritating my throat. I cut out all sugar, red meat, I exercised a lot, I essentially went vegan, I got lots of sleep, did everything I needed to do, but this thing just still stayed there. So I go back to the doctors, and they're like, well, you obviously have a recurring infection that's not going away, so the only thing we can suggest for you to do is to have your tonsils removed. And I was like, I'd rather not do that, so I was kind of delaying that and putting that off. It was one random evening I was at home, and I thought, I haven't done salvia in a while. Let me go ahead and do it. I'd already started to cultivate a relationship with salvia to where I'd learned that I could use the plant to actually commune with different entities. If you meditate before smoking salvia, it changes the experience a lot. And I'd gotten to a point where I'd started to meet different spirit entities and I could communicate with them. And I thought, well, for kicks and giggles, let me just smoke some salvia. So what I did is I used some of the extract and I loaded it in the pipe and I smoked it. And immediately I could tell that there was something different about this particular time. Usually when I'd smoked salvia, there was this energy that would radiate all from out my body, or I'd feel these forces pulling and pushing on me. But this time what I felt was, in the base of my feet, there was this strong vibration that started to happen. And it felt like a very intense tingling sensation. And the tingles, feeling like little ants, ran up my feet and up my legs, and it all, with a lot of purpose and a lot of direction, went straight to where the swollen lymph node was in my neck. And it was just like, whoop, all this energy congregated right there. And now, previously to smoking salvia, I'd been pushing on this lymph node ad nauseum for all the time, just jabbing it. Kind of like when you have a sore tooth as well, you can't stop poking it with your tongue. But this time, with the energy there, my hand automatically picked itself up, and I thought, oh, well, I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. Let me just heal myself. And so I picked up my hand, duh, right? So I picked up my hand and I pressed on this swollen lymph node and I rubbed it in a circle. And as soon as I rubbed it, I felt it go and split in 2. And there were 2 nodules. And then I rubbed it again, and it split into 4. And I rubbed it again, it split into 8, 16, 32. Every second that I rubbed it, it's split in half and half and half, like a cell dividing. Until it got to a point where it was just about the size of little grains of sand. And then I did that one more time, and when it got to a point where I couldn't feel anything anymore, the energy that had initially shot up my body and went to my throat went and went across the rest of my body again. I closed my eyes, I took like a 5-minute meditation. Again, all of this seemed completely normal at the time. And then I came to, and I was like, what the hell? And I felt my throat and the swollen lymph node was still gone. And it remained gone, and it hasn't come back since. And it was that experience that got me thinking, what just happened? Why don't people know about this? Why didn't the doctors tell me to smoke salvia? And so that's when I started doing some research into it, and I didn't know that salvia was actually a shamanic tool used in Oaxaca specifically for the purpose of healing. I had no idea. So it's not as if I was going out there looking for something. It was brought to me.